What's up, everybody? This is Corey from How To Tech, and we're back with another tough test. We're going to go ahead and start this test off with the scratch test first, then move into the bend test, and then finish it off with a drop test. We're going to insert our Moto G5 Plus into our clear cylinder. We're going to tumble this with 2 sets of keys for 15 minutes. We'll then rotate the phone, and then tumble it an additional 15 minutes. The goal is to see how this phone holds up to scratches on the bezel on the back and the glass as well, simulating what you might see putting your phone in your pocket over time, or in a purse, or in a backpack. This phone has now been in the tumbler for a total of half an hour. We're going to go ahead and pull it out and see how this phone looks. It is a plastic phone, so I'm expecting to see some decent bumps and bruises on the phone itself. We're just going to go ahead and clean it up and make sure that no dirt is emphasizing any of the scratches on the phone. Now this tumbled for 1,470 rotations. And looking at the bezel, it actually did really well. I'm not seeing a lot of dings or nicks or scratches. Towards the corners, you can see that there are some additional scratches. This does clean up a little bit as they're a little bit dirty. This is where you're going to see a lot of the major impacts on the bezel of the phone. The opposite side of the phone also looks relatively clean. You're not seeing a lot of scratches along the bezel across the shiny part or any of the matte surfaces as well. The camera glass looks flawless also, no scratches, as well as the back of the phone. I expected the metal to scratch a little bit more, but there is relatively 0 scratches on this. There's just 1 or 2. The glass itself is completely untouched on this phone. There are 0 scratches on it. We're going to go ahead and step the test up and start a additional tumble test with some screws and some drill bits to give it a little bit rougher test to see how this holds up. We'll do the exact same test. We'll tumble this for half an hour, rotate it 15 minutes through the test, give it another 1,470 tumbles across these screws and additional keys. We'll go ahead and pop this off and take a quick look at this. You can see that it's much dirtier, so we're going to go ahead and clean this up again. Now looking at the back, you can see there's a couple of minor scratches on this. There's hardly anything dinging this phone. You can see there's a couple against this plastic bezel portion, but the metal and the back of the phone held up very nicely. No additional scratches on the camera, but you can see there are some scratches across the raised bezel edge of the actual camera itself. Our side scratches have been emphasized, and you can see there's a lot more scratches and kind of the chips out of the shiny portion of the bezel itself, but relatively this phone held up very nicely. I would expect to see deeper gouges on a plastic phone, but you're just not seeing that on this device. The power button, volume button also did not retain any scratches, neither did the home button on the phone itself. The glass surface also did not have any marks or scratches on it either. Turning the phone upside down, we're just going to give it a quick couple turns and see how this phone reacts. We have the raised camera on the back, so we'll see how well that scratches up as well as the camera lens. We do have a couple deep scratches, although not as much scratching as I expected to see. The glass is inset slightly. There's a little tiny bit of a raised bezel, but you will get scratches if this sits face down on any sort of a rough surface. Comparing it to the other phone that we've tested so far, it seems to have less scratches around the sides of the phone, but this phone did get deeper scratches. You can see down here at the bottom we have some scuffing, and then here at the camera lens, just at the bottom of the camera lens, we have some scuffing here as well. Not as bad as I thought it would be. Let's go ahead and move into the bend test. Now we're going to go ahead and speed this up. I did sit on this phone approximately 50 times, but I'm not going to make you sit through the entire sitting process. Bend tests are performed on phones. I'm not sure about the Moto G5 Plus, but we have seen it from Samsung and LG as well. After the iPhone 6 fiasco of the bend gate, this is just a quick test to see if this phone is sturdy enough. Since it is a plastic phone, I might see a little bit of bending on it, but I'm interested to see how it holds up. So just a different variety of fabrics and pocket sizes to see if this would bend. I do weigh approximately 200 pounds, to give you an idea of what kind of force is being put on this phone. Now this phone did not bend under the straight edge on either side. You can see that it's perfectly straight. Let's go ahead and move into the drop test, starting with sitting height, rear of the phone first. This is approximately 21 inches. You can see that there are no additional scratches on the back of the phone. Go ahead and start with a side test from sitting height. No dings or dents on the corner of the phone where it dropped. Screen is still functional. We'll now test the phone face down from sitting height. No additional cracking on the phone. There is still that very deep scratch that stops just right below the top of the black bezel, but no cracking and no denting on the bezel itself. We'll go ahead and start the test from pocket height, backside first. Looking at the back of the device, you can see the camera lens is nice and intact. No additional damage to the phone from the pocket height test. Screen is still functional. Side drop from the pocket height. No additional damage to the phone on the sides, no denting or dings. And the phone screen is functional also. We'll go ahead and move on to a face first drop test from pocket height. No additional cracking or chipping of the screen. We don't have any dents around the sides of the bezel at all. The phone is still in great condition. We'll start it from texting height or selfie height. Start with the back side first. This is approximately 5 feet. There's no damage to the camera glass, no additional dings or scratches on the back of the phone. The screen is still functional also. We'll start with a side drop test next from texting or selfie height. Does not appear to be any dents on the side of the phone. Very well absorbing that impact. Face first from texting selfie height. No additional damage to the glass itself, just the standard scratches there from the scratch test. Doesn't look to have any denting on any of the corners from that fall. It looks like this phone has made it through sitting pocket and texting selfie height on laminate flooring without any additional scratches or dents to the device itself. We're going to go ahead and step it up and now drop it on tile. Sitting height onto tile first. The back camera glass is still intact. I'm not seeing any additional denting or scratching on the back of the phone. Side sitting height. Look at the corner to see if there's any denting here. No dents on any of the corners of the device. Screen is still functional. Face first from sitting height. No cracking on the glass at all. Looks like there may be a couple additional scratches to the front of the glass now. No bending or dinging to the sides of the phone. Do it from pocket height, back first. Camera glass is still intact. No additional scratches. You may have a little tiny scratch here up the side. It's additional. Drop it from the side, from pocket height. Nice bounce on that one. We definitely have a ding here on the corner to see if any of the additional bouncing did anything to the other sides of the phone. They all look good. Let's take a look at the ding on this corner here. See, it's pushed up just a little bit. The plastic has flexed in. No damage to the screen itself, but it has bulged upwards. We'll do face drop from pocket height. No cracking on the device as of yet. There's a couple more scratches on the phone. So the ding, it looks like it flattened out a little bit here on this side, on the front corner where it fell. We do have a ding on the plastic bezel. Side drop from texting selfie height. And it also broke the tile. Similar to one of the other phones that we have tested. We definitely have a nice dent on that corner. No additional breaking to the glass, but it has raised the plastic up. Screen is still functional. Back of the phone from texting selfie height. Camera glass is still intact. No breaking. I don't see any additional damage to the back of the device. No denting on any of the back corners. Maybe a little tiny bit just right here on the back corner. Screen is still functional. Let's do that again. Back of the phone from selfie texting height. Camera's completely intact still. I don't see any denting to the camera glass bezel either. It does look a little bit more scratched. Front of the phone from texting selfie height. That was a nice good slap. And the glass still hasn't shattered. Looks like the bezel itself has flattened out just a little bit on the corner here. So we did a little bit of a ding, but the glass is still intact. That's fairly impressive from this height. Let's try that again. Face first. And again, we do have a little bit of a ding on the bezel, but the screen is still functional. The scratch has still stopped right below the top of the bezel. Let's try that for a third time. Still no cracking. Getting a little bit more of a ding pronounced on the sides, the bezel of the phone, but the screen still turns on. One more time. And we definitely have a crack on the phone here. You can see at the top upper left-hand side of the phone there that is where the crack kind of originates from. The display of the phone still functions and turns on. We do have a shatter in the glass. Looking at the phone after the fact, the screen's still fully functional. We can see that the shatter point's here in the corner, where it does have a ding from a corner drop. Looking at all the corners, they're all pretty much dinged up, but I think this phone survived a little bit better than I thought it was going to, and honestly, it performed really, really well. I think the plastic may have given the screen a little bit more flexibility to not shatter from some of those shorter drops. All in all, I think it looks really, really good. If you want to see the disassembly, reassembly, and replacement of the screen, hit that subscribe button. I'll throw the links as I do the videos in the description below so you can check that out. As always, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.